snow mixed with the difference of the indoor and outdoor temperatures caused the collapse. But lots of fucking buildings are warm when it's cold outside. And this doesn't have, like, clearly they did something wrong.
Well, and it could have been because the building was so large
that
the snow piled in the middle or something.
Yeah.
But that's their job to keep up with how much, because houses, it's like that all the time when you live somewhere that snows, you need to make sure that your roof isn't coming in because there's so much snow on it because it's heavy.
Anchorage has a water park. That hasn't fallen. Come on.
Keep up, Moscow.
On May 11th, 1984, this one you also might have heard of. I haven't, but it was big news. 8 teens were killed in the Six Flags Haunted Castle. Have you heard of the Haunted Castle fire?
Ew, I keep getting chills.
I know. A fire broke out in the Haunted Castle attraction. And it was actually, they say it was caused, another boy testified later saying that he saw some boy, like another little boy, like playing with a lighter, and maybe he got too close to the wall. But either way, it was a ride fault or a haunted castle fault. So the fire started and the place immediately filled with smoke, but there was no clear way out. There were no exit signs. So this is in 84, really, before we started doing this, but there's no exit signs marked. Like, people panicked. No one could figure out how to get out. 8 people, all teenagers, like half of them were seniors in high school getting ready to graduate. They were unable to find an exit, and they were found huddled in front of a chained door that was actually a closet, but they assumably thought it was they were trying to break it.
Yeah, somewhere they could get through.
Yeah, they thought it was somewhere they could get out. Six Flags was actually charged with aggravated manslaughter in this case because they had no exits marked. Like, they made this building impossible to get out of during an emergency, which...
I will say, like, manslaughter maybe, but, like, I'm not sure if it was aggravated. Like,
it
wasn't intentional.
Yeah,
but that's what they were charged with.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. In 2017, 5 people, including 3 children aged 12, 15, and 17, were killed at a water park in Turkey. This one's terrible. They're all terrible, but they were swimming. And so you know how they have, like, the like rivers that keep the water flowing or whatever. Obviously it takes electricity to do that, right?
Oh no.
The kids got caught up in an electrical current. The park's 58-year-old manager and his 30-year-old son saw the kids struggling, so they both jumped in to save them, but they got caught in the same electrical current, so all 5 got electrocuted and died.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wow.
Think about that next time you go to a water park with the lazy river.
Well, I can't swim, so I don't get in.
Investigators believe the park didn't have the correct residual current breaker, which shuts down power to prevent electrical shocks. So they were at fault.
I'm just nodding like, yeah, I know what those things are.
They were at fault is what it means. This one kind of reminds me of the story you told before. And it also reminds me, have you seen the trailer for that movie with Johnny Knoxville where they have the amusement park, but it's like super dangerous?
No.
Oh, I forget what it's called. But so there was a park in New Jersey called Action Park.
Great.
As dangerous as it sounds. This was a dangerous park and apparently notorious for its unsafe conditions. Like, people knew until it closed in 1998. Like, how the hell was this even allowed to be open? And listen to this shit. They had a ride called the Alpine Slide. Right? It's a cement track that went through and you got in like the sled type thing to ride, right? So as you got to the end, there was a handbrake that you were supposed to pull as you got towards the end of the ride to slow yourself down. You heard that right. It was up to the rider to slow themselves down. Up to you. So if you don't pull, and imagine how many like stupid 10-year-olds or 15-year-olds are going to get in there and be like, let's see what happens if we don't pull the brake.
Yeah.
A lot of 15-year-old boys are going to do that. Sorry, 15-year-old boys, but you're dumb.
I might even do it too. I'm like, they probably have an emergency stop.
No, they didn't. It was literally up to the rider. Overall, 40 people were badly, like horribly injured on the Alpine slide and 1 died. The brake was like the manual brake was the only way to stop. So if you didn't pull it, you fucking flew out of the sled.
That's really terrible engineering.
Yes. At Action Park as a whole, 6 people died during its time open, which was from 1978 to 1998. So they made it 20 years, which is insane. They also averaged 110 injuries in just 1 year. Wow. The first year they opened, like the first day they opened, 100 people had to be rescued from the pool.
Oh my God. That's laughable at them, not the people that need rescued.
45 out of the 110 that happened in the first year were head trauma. 10 of them fractured. Six Flags, if you couldn't tell from my other stories, is known as the third most dangerous amusement park. Discovery Cove and SeaWorld is the fifth. So now I want to touch on SeaWorld a little bit.
SeaWorld.
I know.
Watch Blackfish. Reminder too.
Yeah. And so we all, at least I imagine, know the story of Tilikum, the orca who drowned his trainer, Don Branchow, I believe.
Yeah. And if you've seen Blackfish, Tilikum had other issues with other trainers in Oregon when he was living in Oregon.
And they just moved him around. Yeah.
And they just kept that secret.
Yes.
That wasn't the first death that Tilikum had.
So he drowned his trainer, Don, on February 24th, 2010. And of course, this pissed me off. They talk about this in Blackfish. SeaWorld was blamed it on Dawn 100% and said it must have been because she made a mistake.
No.
And I literally wrote, or maybe because you locked a giant sea creature in a small tank and made it sing for its supper.
A sea creature that you stole from its mom when it was a baby in the ocean.
And then you make it sing for its supper.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2016, an orca named Morgan. Oh, this is so sad.
Sorry, I laugh because Morgan is such not a name I would imagine a whale to have.
But this poor orca, and I'm not going to call them killer whales, this poor orca Morgan beached herself on the concrete around her pool. She repeatedly banged her head against the side of her cage, hurting herself. And SeaWorld was like, oh, don't worry, everyone, that's normal. National Geographic released a statement and they were like, no, like humans, not all whales get along. She probably did this because she didn't like the whales in her enclosure and didn't like her enclosure and was trying to get away. This is not normal fucking behavior, you assholes.
No whale wants to be on the sand
bashing her head against a cage. Yeah.
Whales are smart.
Yeah, this was
well, no horrifying. Animal would do that. Even an animal we consider unintelligent would not do that.
Right.
It's self-preservation.
Right. In the 1970s, a trainer, so this is one of their tricks. I don't know if they still do it, but a trainer was putting his head in an orca's open mouth. And apparently someone had a flash camera and it scared the whale. So he snapped his mouth closed, but then immediately reopened it. So the trainer survived, but this should never fucking happen.
Yeah, but imagine if you are a very big creature and somebody kind of small that can fit in your mouth is doing shit and you get scared and by reflex you jerk.
Right.
You might squish them.
Yeah. And I could honestly go on and on about SeaWorld. There's so many of these. And every time they happen, SeaWorld is just like, ha ha ha, that's normal. Who wants discounted tickets?
Also, it's crazy because the animals at SeaWorld don't live as long as the natural lifespans.
Oh, not even 20, 30 years. Yeah. And that's another thing. Sorry, I'm taking over.
No.
That SeaWorld. So SeaWorld actually released a statement saying oh, yeah, whales only live to be 15.
That's not true, though.
Yeah. But that's what they fucking do is they just, I get so mad.
They're
they just
that's
lie.
normal.
And they're like, oh, the whale died at 10. Yeah, they only live to 10. No, bitch, they can live to be 50. I don't know what the number is, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things as I see friends and family go to SeaWorld because, of course, their marketing's really good. It looks very fun. Those kinds of things. And every single time I'm should I say something? And then I'm not my place to ruin a family event. But at the same time, just watch Blackfish.
I know.
That's all I'm asking you.
I know. My mom has taken my sister a few times and she's invited me. And I do understand why people go.
It's cute. The shows are cute.
Yeah. And I there's always the argument of, and it's the same with zoos. Well, how else is my kid going to see these animals? And it's, I'm not here to judge anyone for going to SeaWorld. My mom and sister go and I'm not judging them, but I don't go. I tell my mom, thanks for the invite, but and that's just me personally. I'm not judging you if you go. I get it.
Yeah.
But me personally, I would not go. If you go, it's not up to me.
Yeah. And it's not making me being oh, you're worse of a person or anything.
No.
Anything like that.
I also eat meat.
Yeah.
So a vegan could say, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's kind of the same thing. I'm not judging you. It's just my personal decision not to go.
I buy some things made in factories. That's what it is,
I have Nike shoes. I'm not perfect. There's a lot of things.
I have Nike shoes. I'm not perfect.
I'm definitely not here to judge you if you go. I'm just me personally, I wouldn't go, but yeah. But I eat meat and have Nike shoes. I'm definitely not a perfect specimen.
But your stories were so interesting as I feel we should do a theme that's theme parks.
I just total covered theme. Them all.
Well, or a theme like SeaWorld or a theme like Disneyland or something and find a longer, tell a longer story.
I just covered them all. Are you trying to say I didn't find all the information there is that exists?
Was the podcast 100 hours long? Should we grab another beer?
Yes. Okay, now it's my turn to sit and listen to you.
Caitlin, that was so good.
Thank you.
But because we're filming back to back to back to back,
Recording.
and I will always call it filming, I don't know why. I'm feeling the beers.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we will open another. So.
We're going to eat a lot of shit after this.
Yes.
I told you I live here now until I sober up.
Oh, let me explain it before I open it. Fuck. Okay, this is fun. Caitlin and I and friends are still deeply hoping we can go to Ireland in August.
We are going.
We have to go. This is O'Hara's Irish Stout. It's brewed in Ireland.
Oh.
It's a full-bodied, luxuriously smooth stout with a discernible roast bite.
I was crossing everything I have.
It's very strange. 4.3% alcohol by volume. It's low. That makes sense in the UK. It's pretty typical.
You know that song?
Get low, get low, get low.
No. I have a song by Jason Derulo. It's that, what you say? That's
what you say?
stuck in my head.
You say tuck in my head. What's the Jason Derulo song I like? It's the one where he has... Tell me, Caitlin. It's one where there's a music video and it's...
that one song he has with one music video.
No, I'm going to explain the music video. There's people playing trumpets, but when you listen, it's actually a saxophone.
Let me tell you a secret. I wouldn't fucking know. If someone was playing a trumpet and it sounded like a saxophone, I wouldn't know the difference.
Oh.
I don't know.
I think I only knew because I played the trumpet for 10 years. So I'm like, that's not a trumpet, that's a saxophone.
Only nerds would know the difference.
Only turds want it.
Side note, if you listen to the song The Kids Are Coming by Tones and I.
Okay, I told you I did and I didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, you dumb bitch. And Bad
glass.
Child by Tones and I. I was going to say no, but I have to get your... You have to have my glass for beer. Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. We are slowly losing our goddamn minds.
Welcome to the quarantine. Oh. Okay, are you ready for the story of the love?
I want Chipotle.
The Love Canal?
No.
No, you're not ready yet? What do I need to do to
you
help
watch
you?
Love is Blind? Are you on that train? I have not watched it.
No,
Okay,
but
good.
I've been watching Married at First Sight for years, and I think that I think Caitlin's rolling her eyes and her head, and I think that it's just copying Married at First Sight, and I'm annoyed by it.
I don't watch any reality TV.
We didn't
Is
try
that
our
weird?
beers.
No, I'm trying it now. I don't watch any reality TV. Not because I am judgy about it, because I know that I will get sucked into it. Cheers. Hold on, I'll just grab a second. I just have to say,
I love this.
I love this too. The beer.
It's smoky.
It is really smoky. That's good. This is really good.
It's a really good stout. It's not sweet. It's a smoky, dry stout.
So I get sucked into reality TV. I went to San Diego, this was like months ago, to visit Rachel, and she introduced me to the British version of Bridezillas. It's called It's on Netflix, but it's a British version of Bridezillas. British people are the best and their humor is amazing. So I watched that, like literally I could not stop watching it. And that's why I don't start reality TV shows, because I will never stop watching. So I've never seen The Bachelor. I've never seen any of them. I'm ready to hear your story.
Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you about the Love Canal.
She just made direct weird eye contact with me.
You think all eye contact's weird?
No, but okay, let me try Sarah. Sarah, I'm going to tell you about the... I can't even do it. I'm going to tell you about the Love Canal.
Everyone look in the mirror and go, but tell your how to little. I'll be like, the Love Canal.
Okay, go.
So my sources are Wikipedia, Michael Brown for The Atlantic, Andrew Perkin for The New York Times, and Randy Alfred for Wired. So this is a story of a neighborhood in New York State that was unknowingly sitting atop an absurd amount of toxic waste for decades.
Oh, shit.
So let's set the stage really quick, and I'll give a brief, maybe boring history of the Love Canal. The Love Canal is a canal extending from Niagara in western New York State. In 1880, a man named William T. Love, who was an entrepreneur at the Western Railroad Corporation, wanted to build something called Model City. That's what he named it. And in his eyes, this would be a community filled with parks, residential homes, all on the edge of Lake Ontario. He was very forward thinking. He imagined a community that was utilizing hydroelectricity. Like he wanted this cool thing called Model City, and that's what he wanted to build. So first, he wanted to build a canal there because in order to get products like across Western New York, you had to go like around Niagara Falls or something crazy. So he's like, if we build a canal, we can just ship stuff super easy. Model City will benefit, blah, 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 blah. So he got financial backing from New York City, from Chicago, and from England because it would have made some of their trade easier in 1894. And so the canal construction began. However, the investors pulled their funds pretty quickly because of the Panic of 1893. So in the United States, the Panic of 1893 was an economic depression. And then in 1907, it happened again. There was an